Hey everyone, Rushlock here, and today we're going to take a look at a video from Ashterothi. We're going to play it at 1.25 speed. It's only like 2 minutes of the first part we're going to play, so it'll be less than that. Let's take a listen. Topic is want to do versus have to do or grinding in MMOs.
Aren't MMOs always a grind? I mean, more. So this actually is a topic that I get into quite a bit, and I was actually thinking about like drilling down to being like making a video on its own about it, or like a segment on its own about it. But it's the concept of the get to do versus the have to do, right? So the example that really drives it home for me is moon mining, right? So when I have one moon up, everybody's really excited about it. It pops, it gets drilled, it gets mined out in like 4 or 5 hours. Everybody consumes it, and they're like, oh my god, there's not enough, there's not enough. We need more. So we get more moons and more moons and more moons. But the problem is, at a certain point, you hit a critical threshold, where now, in order to actually complete all of the moon mining, people now have to mine when they not necessarily want to. Like if you go all the way to the current threshold of interest, then if the interest wanes in any way, well, those moons still have to be mined. And so suddenly you and with very, very little warning, you cross the threshold from your player base, your community, seeing the activity of moon mining as being something that they get to do because they're in the alliance, to something they have to do for work. And that is a critical threshold, right? That is a critical problem. If the player perceives something as being a chore, then yes, they're going to perceive it as being grindy. But this is something I actually haven't understood about player behavior for a very long time. Like free-to-play games that make you play a lot of games in order to unlock the stuff, and people say that it's grinding. It's like, well, what were you going to do anyways? Why are you playing the game if not to do matches, right? Like, playing matches, which is presumably what you're here to do, unlocks the thing. Now, granted, I'm not saying that there aren't situations where it is bad, but like, I always get so confused by that.
And I think this is a really good point, because we have this on the stream pretty often with new players coming in and asking, hey, I'm new to EVE, I'm playing the game, but I'm space poor. How do I make ISK? What's the best way to make ISK? Hey, what you're doing right now, is that good ISK per hour? And it's because the users get this perception that Ashterothi is discussing here, where a player in general has something they want to do. All right, new players oftentimes don't know yet what they want to do because they're still discovering and still exploring the game. They don't have as much opportunity to do so with limited resources, or at least their perception of availability of content because of limited resources. But more often than not, a player has a choice of things to do, and they will look more at what do I need to do instead of what do I want to do. And what Ashterothi touched on here with the moon mining is opportunity. Okay, opportunity is a huge presentation differential for, hey, for today only, and if you undock right now, you can come participate in this activity. Now, in 4 or 5 hours, this opportunity will be gone. So, if you got other things to do today, it's fine. We understand. Whatever. Go take care of that. But, if you don't do this right now, it won't be here available later. Then, as he talks about scaling upward, like, okay, well, my guys like doing this activity. I'm going to see if I can find them more opportunities to do it. You make it 2 moons, 4 moons, 8 moons, whatever the number is. Your organization, as Ashterothi discussed, you hit that critical mass. And once you hit that tipping point, it no longer becomes an opportunity, and it turns into a chore. As he said, chores lead to being it's grindy. There's this thing I don't want to do, but I'm obligated. And a lot of that was player putting that on themselves. There wasn't communication. There wasn't like, hey, morale and mining ops are down. We need to scale it back. And if you're running an organization, setting up a moon for a week or two and then having to take it back down and back up and back down and back up is more hassle than you may want to deal with as an individual. And so that flexibility isn't really there. So inherently, it's quote-unquote better to limit the opportunities, ceiling of availability to maintain, and this will be a great buzzword for the current situations, but scarcity, right? You never want there to be so many chores on the board or tasks on the board where people feel they've gotten to the point of obligation and chore level. You want it always to be, hey, there's something I want to do, and now I'm going to go do it, and I feel like I've been rewarded by the action itself, not necessarily the reward. And a lot of that overlaps with this Doctor Who event for me. I really like hacking, okay? Like the hacking minigame, to me, they can slap on any content they want, and I'll probably enjoy it. The puzzle solving or whatever, like the why of it's irrelevant to the topic, but the idea that I want to do more of it is what's important. I don't care, Doctor Who event's been going for a week at the time of this video, and I frequently get asked, like, well, what's the ISK like in this event? Are you making good ISK per hour? And I tell them the truth, I don't know and I don't care. If I sweated out the first 3 days and sat here at the computer and was the first one selling things in the market, yeah, I'd probably make an incredible list doing it. But that wasn't my focus. I wanted to complete the event points. I wanted to find the dapper outfits. I wanted to, to play more hacking game. And here are sites where I get to hack, anywhere between 9 and 20 cans per site, which is far more than I'm used to in basic sites in normal space or nullsec and what I normally run. So that I get to do more cans is my carrot, and I haven't hit a critical mass for, oh man, I've got to hack more cans. Maybe a little bit with like T1 filaments, and I don't mean for this to be a commentary on the events, just as a perspective gainer. I do find myself like, all right, I've got a lot of T1 filaments. I have to crack my way through before I can get to do what I want to do, which is T2s and T3s more consistently. But I understand why they did it that way, because if you could just go infinite on T2s and T3s, it would devalue all the drops and so on and so forth. But yeah, Ashterothi has a good point here, a good talking point for want to do versus have to do. A link to the original video will be linked down in the description down below. This, of course, is YouTube, so hit the like and button down below. Comment if you can. If you have an example of something that you've wanted to do in EVE, but it later turned into like, now I have to do it. It could be ADM management. It could be mining related, like Ash here is talking about. And maybe a different activity entirely. Maybe market orders if you got into station trading. You're like, oh man, this is a lot of fun, a lot of fun, a lot of fun. And I scaled my operation up to a certain size, and now it's too many orders for me to manage every day. And yeah, there might be other activities that you can comment with that you've personally experienced, where you've hit that tipping point and that threshold for the opportunity to do it and enjoying it versus, ugh, this is another chore I have to do. But let us know down below, and we'll see you next time.